Check. Well, good afternoon, and depending on what part of the country you're in, especially if you're here in the state of Mississippi, good morning. And this is Michael Jefferson, and welcome again to another edition of B.L.O.K. Sports. I am coming to you live from the vet here in Jackson, Mississippi, as Jackson State University is getting ready to take on the Golden Tigers of Tougaloo. So if you would give me 1 minute, I will be right back. All right, folks, I am back. And as I said, I'm coming to you live from the vet in Jackson, Mississippi. And we're expecting a nice crowd here today. Unfortunately, this is not a conference game. And because it's not a conference game, we may not have as many people here as we expect. But yet and still, we should have a nice crowd here. All right, folks, I am back. And as I said, we are live from the vet, and we are looking here at the stadium where the Jackson State Tigers will take on the Golden Tigers of Tuskegee. And before we get into that, just want to make sure that for everything that you need to know and for all of the things that you need to do, we want to make sure that you have as much information as possible on what we need to do for today. So just in case you want to get in contact with me, here is my information. Hopefully you're watching us on the website of www.yourstreet.tv. And if you're not, you have access to us via YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn, and also Roku. So make sure you take the time to join us. And if you have any questions on how to get in contact with me, there's my email address. And you can contact me at michaelj@jcconnect.net. That is michaelj@jcconnect.net. And there is all of my contact information. Make sure you jump on the website if you want to. You can subscribe to us as well. And just be able to tune in, listen, hear about your favorite HBCU. But my favorite HBCU happens to be the Tigers of Jackson State University. Somebody was passing by. I'm sorry about that. But Jackson State University is my HBC of choice. I was here from 1983 until 1987. And then from there, 3 of my 4 kids have attended. 2 of them graduated from here. My 3rd is a sophomore here at Jackson State. My oldest, he didn't graduate from here. He did graduate from an HBCU, graduated from Florida A&M, but he took classes here and received a certificate of graduation from Jackson State University. So technically speaking, you can say that all 4 of my kids have attended, and if there are no restrictions or anything that will happen to my baby girl, I'll have 4 kids that have went to and graduated from Jackson State University. My wife also is a graduate from Jackson State. Most of our family from both sides graduated from Jackson State. So I can easily say we're blue and white all together. But for what I do and all of the things that I cover, I make sure that I cover each and every HBCU conference that exists. The CIAA, SIAC, the MEAC, and of course, the SWAC. The SWAC happens to be the conference that Jackson State University belongs to. And as a matter of fact, the SWAC has the most members, well, one of the most members of all of the 4 HBCU conferences, but Jackson State has the most members of a Division I conference. We have 12 members, and in each division, we have 6 teams. Now, in the East, where Jackson State belongs to, it's loaded. One team that a lot of people have, well, let me back up. Jackson State initially was projected to finish number 1 in the East Division of the SWAC. But let me tell you something, folks. We beat Alabama State last year. Alabama State is locked and loaded this year. Body is coming back for Alabama State. But let me say this. I can honestly say they are preparing for October 11th for Jackson State's homecoming game when we host Alabama State. We beat Alabama State last year, if I'm not mistaken, for their homecoming. So you know that Alabama State is coming to wreck our homecoming. And please, somebody correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe that was Alabama State's homecoming last year, and we won. And I don't know why we're going back and forth, playing each other on our homecoming game, but because I know Alabama State has been here, and they have beaten us on our homecoming. So we had to return the favor. So I think now it's just a back and forth. And, wow, I'm not looking forward to it this year. But you know what? Before I get too far gone, let me go through the other HBCU conferences and talk about what's going on. Now, last week, and I'll go through for those who have not had the opportunity to watch my show. But last week, I'll do a quick synopsis of the other HBCU conferences and their games, and then make sure I tell you the games that will be played this week. So let's go here to the CIAA. And as you can see, as far as the CIAA, last week, Johnson C. Smith, who happens to be the team, as far as I'm concerned, let me switch back here. As far as I'm concerned, for the CIAA, they were projected to finish second in that conference. So Virginia Union, and Johnson C. Smith will play next weekend. And my hope is that I can go there, receive media credentials, and have a pregame show. So keep your eyes and ears open, because if I can get media credentials for Virginia Union, because that will be a home game for Virginia Union as they host Johnson C. Smith, my goal is to be at that game. So keep your eyes and ears open. I will keep you informed. But anyway, let's go ahead with the rest of the games. So here you are. Duquesne University defeated Lincoln. Bluefield defeated Concord. Bowie State defeated Shippensburg University. Hampton defeated Elizabeth City. UNC Pembroke defeated Fayetteville State. Livingstone traveled to Allen University, and they defeated them by a score of 28 to 17. Next, you had Virginia State losing to Norfolk State University. As a matter of fact, that was Michael Vick's first victory, and that was in overtime. And then Winston-Salem traveled to Mars Hill and defeated Mars Hill by a score of 28 to 25. And as you can see, this is their record. And as I said, Johnson C. Smith, as far as I'm concerned, until Virginia Union plays them next weekend, that's the team I say is the team to beat in the CIAA. Now, games that are being played today. And as you can see, Ferrum College will host Shaw at 1 o'clock, and these are Eastern Standard Time. Johnson C. Smith will travel to Elizabeth City. Delaware State will host Bowie State. Virginia Union will travel to Edward Waters. Winston-Salem will host Lincoln of Pennsylvania. Bluefield will travel to Wingate University. And North Carolina Central will host in-state school Fayetteville State. And that game is going to be at 6 p.m. Now, other scores in the SIAC. Now, as far as the SIAC is concerned, a lot of people believe that this is the SIAC, I should say. We believe that the SIAC is supposed to be the best Division II conference. But with Johnson C. Smith and the way Johnson C. Smith is playing, they have something to say about that. And we're going to see when Johnson C. Smith goes head-to-head with some of these schools, what's going to happen. So let's take a look at the scores for the SIAC. Here you are. This past Saturday, Albany State defeated Kentucky State. Albany State is the projected team that everyone is expecting to finish in first place, make it to the conference championship, and take that trophy away and go on to the Division II playoffs. Clark Atlanta, another school, and we'll take a look at the game that they played Thursday night. But Clark Atlanta defeated Florida Memorial. Lane hosted Lincoln of Missouri, and unfortunately they lost at home by a score of 27 to 15. Edward Waters defeated Miles by a score of 46 to 14. Livingstone traveled down to Allen and defeated Allen by a score of 28 to 17. Savannah State hosted Shorter and blanked them by a score of 13 to 0. And Tuskegee, those Golden Tigers that will be here at Jackson State, defeated Central State by a score of 34 to 0. Tuskegee is tough, guys. I had a chance to see them at the Red Tails Classic, and all I have to say is, even though Jackson State has a very good team, they need to watch it, because if they don't pay attention, they can be upset. But let's take a look at the records and then go to the game that was played this past Thursday. Here's the record for the SIAC. And as you can see, Edward Waters, Albany State, Tuskegee, there, as well as Benedict, they are undefeated in their overall record. But Edward Waters, Albany State, and Tuskegee, those are the schools up until Thursday night that are still undefeated in conference play. As you can see, Kentucky State has played and they're 1-1. Savannah State has played and they're 0-1 in conference play, as well as Central State is 0-2 and Miles is 0-1. But when it comes to the other schools here, it's going to be between Albany State, Tuskegee, and this is Michael Jefferson talking, because based upon the eye test, Albany State, Tuskegee, and Clark Atlanta, those are the three schools. And as a matter of fact, those are the schools that are projected to finish 1, 2, and 3. And they're projected to finish Albany State number 1, Clark Atlanta number 2, Tuskegee number 3. And when those teams play against each other, it's going to be a great game. Those games are going to be off the chart. Now, we talked about a game that was played on Thursday night in the SIAC. That game that was played in the SIAC was between Clark Atlanta and Fort Valley State. Now, Clark Atlanta, as I said, is projected to finish number 2 in the SIAC. And Fort Valley State is projected to finish 5th. And they're projected to be a really tough team. And just to let you know how many teams are in the SIAC, there are 13 total teams. So these are the top 5 schools: Albany State, Clark Atlanta, Tuskegee, Miles, and Fort Valley State. This is what the projections from preseason, and whether or not they end up that way is a different story. And the reason why I say that, because if you go back and we take a look at the records or the standing, now granted, it's early in the season, and as a matter of fact, come on in. I am live, and I see a couple of people that I want to bring in here. Oh, don't even try it. Come on in. How you doing now? Why don't you grab a mic here and let me get you on here live?
How are you today?
So go right ahead. Let me make sure I got you live.
Yes, hello, how are you today?
Awesome.
Great day to be a tiger.
Oh, it's a beautiful day to be a tiger.
So what are we doing out here today? And this is my wonderful friend, Maya. Maya Jefferson, that is.
Now, let me say this.
Hi, y'all.
Maya's my daughter. She has been working with me for years. And now she's going to act like she's afraid and she doesn't want to be seen on television.
Maya is working very hard today in her new role as promotions, and she's doing a wonderful job for Alpha Media's 99 Jams radio station.
Woo! Okay. So make sure it's seen.
Gotta make sure it's in camera. So far, Maya, have you liked the new role? This is your second game, right? Yes, this is my second game. Oh, you have a third microphone. Yes, a third microphone.
I always come prepared.
I love your setup. Everything looks great.
Now, Christiana, did you get a chance to introduce yourself?
No.
Introduce yourself.
I'm Christiana Williams, and I wear a lot of hats. Can't you see? Right now I'm in Jackson, Mississippi, but it is Miami. But I do wear a lot of hats. I am where do I start? I am a account manager and promotions director at 6 radio stations, but our parent company, which used to be Alpha Media, we changed last week. It is now Connoisseur Media. And so I've been here for 19 years. Yes, Connoisseur bought all of our stations. We have more than 240 stations. So we just have 6 in the Jackson market. I've been there, like I said, for 19 years. But I also serve she was a freshman at Jackson State, and I asked for some help, and Rob J said, I have a wonderful person for you, not knowing that she had a background that you trained her well. And so she's been with me more than 5 years now. And when her sister came along and she told me her sister was coming, I said, I'm sure she has been trained and taught the right things. So with that being said, I said, please bring her to work with you. And since then, she's been working. So day one, she stepped on the Jackson State campus. She had a job here waiting for her in, I would say, the communications field, all because of your training. I always like to say appreciate you for giving me 2 dynamic young women to work with.
And I can tell you one thing. Michaela worked with me and her twin. They worked with me since they were 11 years old. How old were you when you first started?
Probably like 8.
That's about right. Yeah.
But I'm sure at 3 or 4 you were carrying a bag or a cord or something.
Yeah. She was doing something. And as a matter of fact, my daughter came over to the hotel last night, and she happened to see this device right here. And she's like, where did you get this? What is this? How can we use this?
Yes.
Can I have it?
Yes.
And I said, no, and no.
No. You can buy you one.
Yeah. And but this is something, and as a matter of fact, I see somebody else, and see, we work together in media. Mo! What's up? I want you over here in a few minutes, okay? But this is what I do in terms of hosting an HBCU sports show, making sure that we talk about what's going on, who's going on, who's coming in, and graduate of Jackson State?
Absolutely. I'm a graduate of Jackson State University. I have a long HBCU, PWI, back to HBCU story, but I eventually received my degree in business management with a minor in marketing from Jackson State University. B.L.O.C.K.
And see, we are just slightly biased on what we do, just ever so slightly. And if you see the people from B.I.L.O.C.K, we're not arrogant, so please don't misunderstand that. We're just confident in what we do. And for those who don't understand that, forgive us, but you'll be all right.
We are overly confident everywhere we go.
There you go. So what are you guys doing today?
Okay, so today we're pretty much, we hosting a tailgate. We're hosting a tailgate for the radio station 99 Jams. And today our sponsor is Richard Swartz and Associates. And so what we're doing is we're basically hosting the sponsor at the tailgate, making sure we get fan engagement. And we have a lawyer on deck, and so the lawyer is able to give them any legal advice, not any, but pretty much in their realm, in their area, in their field. They're able to give them legal advice on the spot so they can know what to do for their particular situation. So next time we're going to have, I believe, Wingstop as a sponsor, and we have a few more sponsors that's going to sponsor our home games.
Can I get some wings?
Absolutely. He said, bring him something to eat. Right now we have a caterer with us for today's game, but we will bring you something to eat. I got you, Dad.
Thank you very much.
But right behind us, you're with Alumni Relations, and they usually utilize Sodexo Magic. Sodexo Magic is the service that's used for Jackson State and for all of their food services, and they do a wonderful job. They have a great chef and sous chef on deck that can do an array of different types of foods. So when they bring out the Sodexo Magic behind you, you'll see exactly what I'm talking about.
So they'll be here?
Yes, right behind you.
I hate this phrase. I truly hate this phrase. But you got to hook a brother up.
You will be hooked up because you already know when you're at a tailgate experience with Jackson State, it's like a family reunion. They're always asking you, do you need water? Do you want some catfish? Do you want ribs? So you have to be careful about everybody's food, but most of the foods like Sodexo Magic has been proven, and they do a great job. But I love this atmosphere because it is like a one big family reunion.
And see, everybody else talks about other HBCU colleges and their tailgate. I have to admit, Alcorn does have a pretty good one. Southern University. I've heard about North Carolina A&T and some others.
Yeah.
but you got to come here.
And me being overly confident, see, the problem is at ASU, it's hard to get in and get out. And the problem at Southern University, it's hard to get in and get out. You have to start 3 days in advance. But not right here at Woodrow Wilson, okay, at Veterans Memorial Stadium. We have the best staff. They're all out, and they're courteous, and they have been trained in customer service to make sure that people are guided, and they are kind to them at all times.
And see, we have multiple ways to get in here.
Absolutely.
Unlike our
people down the road. Our people down the road.
Purple and gold.
Yes. One way in, one way out. You know, if you really know the roads, it's more than one way in and more than one way out. But you got to know the back roads.
Yeah, you got to know. But my uncle always said something that it took 12 days and 3 nights to get into Alcorn.
You better say it. They started, I'm telling you, about 2 o'clock this morning. No, they are not on campus this week. Actually, they are on the road. But, you know, we're going to be hosting them this year, November 22nd. And it's always a pleasure because that is a huge merge of a family reunion.
Now, homecoming. Have you guys started planning for homecoming already?
Homecoming is going to be a little scary. Now, on our end, we've started preparing, but I believe Alabama, we're playing Alabama State, and have you seen them?
I have.
You know, when you are, I'm true to the blue, but I also must say they're going to give our Tigers a run for their money.
Oh, the football team?
Yes.
In terms of the band?
Oh, they have nothing on us.
But yeah, I've seen that football team. We beat them last year. But this year...
It looks like they studied our playbook.
It's going to be ugly, folks. I'm serious. As far as I'm concerned, for the East and making sure what team qualifies for the East Division for the SWAC Championship, as far as I'm concerned, that game will be the game, because when the Jackson State and Alabama State hooks up, no disrespect to Florida A&M, no disrespect to the Valley, no disrespect to Bethune-Cookman, but for the East, Jackson State, Alabama State, Jackson State's homecoming here at the Vet. And even though we got a few weeks before that day comes, I recommend you come here, you watch that game, you listen to that game, because that game will be the determining factor of who qualifies for the SWAC Championship that will be held on December 6th. At whoever wins
at Veterans Memorial Stadium.
I'm predicting that game.
At Veterans Memorial Stadium. It's going to be held at Veterans Memorial Stadium because we're winning.
See, I believe it. I'm winning, but I'm scared.
But the HBCU game day experience is like no other, so I definitely encourage you to come and see that game on October 11th.
And if I'm not at another location, I will have a pregame show here for homecoming. And so just expect to see us, expect to be here, and expect to have a good time.
Nobody gave me the red color code. I didn't get the red memo.
But I thought it was white out today.
I think that was last week. Last week was the stripes where it was white and blue. This week is red out. Okay.
Oh, this week is red out?
Red out.
Yes, sir.
Now, let's talk about that for a second. When did they incorporate, with the Deion Sanders in town, they incorporated this red? How do you feel about that red? I think I would have rather had a hint of soft blue.
I'm going to say this. Most of you guys know how I feel about our previous coach.
Okay.
A lot of individuals actually love him. As far as I'm concerned, he is the best defensive back to ever play, cornerback to ever play in the NFL.
You have to give him that.
Lace him up in college.
You got to give him that, yeah.
I was here, though, the day he flew out to Colorado to take that job. They had just won the SWAC championship. He did not take the time to come into the media room, and I apologize if I come across
bitter, because we still mad.
I am still mad. I really am.
Well, even with that entire experience, to be honest with you, I lived it here in the city, in the media world. And just my personal opinion, it has nothing to do with who I represent, but he did not give the local media the time of day.
Let me ask you this. Since you represent local media, tell me this. Did he ever apologize? Because I don't know. For leaving and not addressing the media.
Not that I know of, but he probably did, but not that I know of. I do know throughout the entire time, he didn't really give us the attention like the other coaches did in the past and how this current coach has. This current coach immediately, like for our instance, our platform, we have the #1 radio station in the market. It is local station, and we beat out all of the syndicated shows. He came and sat down and said, I understand this audience and why I need to be here. Let's talk football. And we really appreciated that out of Coach Taylor. And we told him our door's always open. He's been back a few times since then, but we've had great interaction with him. But when we had the coach before, it was really a Hollywood type of situation. You had to go through so many people to get to him, which I did understand that situation, of why they did that. But at the same time, when you come to a place like Jackson State and in our city, the humbleness should set in.
Thank you. And I apologize because
we
know
had
that
to get that off of our chest.
Thank you. Because I know that there are a lot of fans of our previous coach. I do like him. I think our AD for bringing him in.
Oh, our AD is awesome. AD Robinson.
Yes, he is. He's absolutely phenomenal. So AD Robinson for bringing him in, I guess you could say essentially he lived up to his contract, giving us 3 seasons.
He gave us what we paid for.
Yeah. So did we expect him to stay here? Unfortunately, we did not.
No, we always knew it was a platform and a stepping stone because when he came in, the talking head said that he's looking for that ultimate big coaching job. And he received what he wanted, and he's done a great job there as far as I know of. But he's also done a great job with his, you have to speak positive.
I didn't say anything.
But he also has done a great job with his sons and getting them prepared. And then that was a whole debacle, but they're still panning out. One of them are. One of them are.
Hey, you know what? I think they gave Shador a really bad run. And I don't like what they did to Shador.
Yeah.
And I believe that is because of who his father is.
Yes, I do believe that is a really good kid and that he has very good intentions and he's going to be phenomenal on the football team. I mean, on the field as a quarterback with whomever really wants him. But I do say this. I think that whoever wants him really needs to get a hold of him because if you don't want him, don't waste his time.
And that's right. And I was told that our current President of the United States is the one that made a phone call that said, look, you need to bring him in.
Yeah.
And you shouldn't be doing that to him.
Yeah.
And as much as I dislike our current president, I have to respect him for that.
Yeah.
But you should not punish someone because of their father. I understand that he probably would have brought a show to that particular pro football team.
But as a parent, our goal is to try to leave a legacy that our children can not only live up to, but also be proud of, and a legacy that's respected. And so that's something I believe that he strives to do, but at the same time, he's like a true Jackson State. He's overly confident in everything he does. And some people don't like that.
And you know what? I received that. Because he is a Tiger through and through. If you remember when Shiloh graduated, and he graduated with my twins, Michaela, what did he do when he crossed the stage?
Oh, he acted up. He acted up. But most people do. The spotlight was on him because, of course, who he was. But all in all, when you're receiving that degree after 4 long years, you want to bunny hop across. You want to, whatever the latest dance is across the stage because you're excited, you're proud, you're relieved, you're a lot of emotions going across you at that time. So I can understand that celebration dance.
Yes, and that's exactly what he did. He went across there, and as a matter of fact, if you've ever seen the J5 for the Sonic Boom of the South, that's what he did.
Yes.
And he went across that stage, and he was a proud HBCU graduate.
I think that showed a lot of respect for our culture as well as shining a light on our drum majors, because they did like them a lot, and they spent time with them. And so I thought that was really cute.
Yes. And being a person who marched in the great Sonic Boom of the South, I pledged Kappa Kappa Psi. And because of that, I do understand the hours of dedication, the blood, sweat, and tears that I took marching in that stadium. First time I marched in that stadium was against Alabama State.
Ooh, wow.
And oh my gosh, I actually stopped playing, took a look in the stand. It was like,
wow.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
And I think we had about 26,000 fans for that game.
Well, let me tell you, I learned something new this past, on our first game not too long ago. I asked one of the band members, why do you guys have such ugly faces intentionally? And they told me that with that being their first home game, that all of the freshmen had to put a mean mug on their face. Freshmen. Something I learned, and I was like, okay, but generally when you guys are on that battlefield, they're looking real mean, like they mean business.
Yes, and see, we didn't have to do that. And as a matter of fact, what happens, if you notice, during halftime, you have the players on the field, and then you also have individuals that are still in the stand that are with the Sonic Boom. What happens is, let's say we're marching 192 on the field, but we have roughly 300 members in the band. You are challenged to be able to get on that field. During my 4 years at Jackson State, marching in the Sonic Boom, I was never challenged.
That's good.
I was never challenged from my freshman year. Because if you come in with an attitude that,
oh, you're better than the rest, they will bring you down.
Oh, you get brought down real quick. But I was never that person. I let my playing show for my skills, and I never was challenged. Everyone can't say that, because some people got challenged and they got removed for the next show. No, they looked and they kept it moving. And that's something in terms of that quiet confidence that you have to understand. And if you don't understand that level of quiet confidence, then I'm sorry, you're in the wrong place. But I'll tell you right now, with what's the population of Jackson State right now? About 65, 67?
Don't look at me. I'm not sure. Maybe so, yeah.
Yeah. So I know we're roughly about 65 to 7,000 students here. A lot of individuals say, why are you attending an HBCU? Because that's not really the real thing. No, I've actually had some students tell me, because you're not going to work in an environment with all African Americans.
True.
And so I countered in saying, and don't get me wrong, I work as an instructor at a predominantly white institution, and I love it. Wouldn't trade that experience for the world. But the difference is, what we learn here at an HBCU is that, unfortunately, there are PWIs where you will be discriminated against. Here, you have your own peers, and with your peers, there is no discrimination. You actually have other individuals that look like you that will kick your ass because they are smarter than you, they are confident, and they are well versed in what they do.
Absolutely.
How do you feel about that?
I concur. I would say that also being at a HBCU, you're taught and you learn your culture. Not just that, you learn to value your culture. You do learn how to interact with many different types of other cultures because you're given opportunities to work in the workforce after that. But also we're given a fair playing field to have a chance. A chance to do what? A chance to graduate, like you said at the top of our class. A chance to even get that degree and not be challenged. Let me give you a prime example. I told you in the beginning when I first started that I had an experience where I started at HBCU, went to PWI, back to HBCU because I quickly learned one thing. My people care about me. Let me tell you, what does that mean?
That's a big difference.
When I was at West College is where I started on a scholarship, a United Methodist scholarship. And so when I was there, I graduated as a C student from high school, but I was an AB student at West College my first year there, literally. Why was that? Because people like Mr. Spike, Mr. Lampley, they were pulling me to the side saying, hey, come here, let me talk to you. Do you need extra help? What do you need? You didn't pass this test. So they helped me. Let me give you another example. But I was eager to go to Southern Miss with the rest of my friends. I went to Southern Miss. I was one of 150 plus people in that class. I was in accounting. My first semester, I received all D's. But I came with more than a 3.0. But I received all D's. Why is that? Because when I tried to talk to Dr. Henderson at that time, who was my accounting instructor, I had to make an appointment.
She remembers his name.
Yes, I remember. I had to make an appointment. And in order to get an appointment, I had to make sure I was there at that time. And if I had a class, what if I couldn't come at that time? And so I was basically, like they said, a Social Security number. And so I was told that many different times, but I didn't believe them. I'm one of those that have to touch the fire to make sure it's hot. I ended up 4 years down there with 34 credits, and that's what you pretty much get as a freshman in college, right? So I had 34 credits after 4 years. I then came to Jackson State, and I started in the business administrations area. I started to come to school. I started to look the part because they told you had to dress a certain way to come in that class. And even with that, the instructors told us, hey, you're in a business class. Why are you coming in a pastel pink suit? No, ma'am, go home and change. Come back. So they taught me the right thing to do and how to be professional on a job at all costs. And with that being said, I remember Dr. Perkins pulling me to the side and said, baby, are you ready to graduate? I said, yes, sir. I've been doing this for 7 years now. He said, if you go ahead and change your major and focus in management, you already have enough credits to get a minor in marketing. Because remember, I had 2 schools already under my belt.
Oh, that's right.
So he said, if you focus for the next semester, I'll get you out of here with your degree in business management with a minor in marketing, right? He pulled me to the side. He was my instructor to let me know that he had already counted my credits. He had already driven my path for me. And so with that being said, I was able to lead and guide. And my father died my first year at that PWI. And so I'm going to give you a little backstory, maybe too TMI, but my father is Mexican. And his sisters are Mexicans. And they're maids. They were in people's homes. They raised other people's children, right?
Understand.
White families. And so literally at my aunt's funeral, those white children were coming saying that was my mama. So with that being said, his goal was, my child will not be a maid in someone's house. You will get your degree. And so my goal, even after he died, I didn't care how long it took. It was to make sure my father, told me, and he was proud, even though he was dead and gone, to get that degree. And I was happy that Dr. Perkins pulled me to the side because I was able to walk across that stage. And yes, I walk with a pep in my step when I walk across that stage. My mother, my auntie that I'm telling you about, they were all in the stands. She was proud because I was the first person in my family to graduate from a college.
And you see?
Do you hear me? She said,
that's the courage. That's what we receive.
That's what we do.
And as a matter of fact, at the institution that I teach at, I do the exact same thing.
You pull them to the side.
They don't understand why, because they don't receive that there.
Yeah.
And I've been told for all of my classes, and I'm like, I don't know why all of my classes fill up so quick, but all of the students say, I couldn't get in your class. I couldn't get in your class. And I keep asking, well, why? Because I want to be in your class. and this is what I actually bring to them.
When the word gets around that you have an instructor that will help you, children will flock to you. They look for good. They look for the guidance, because you got to realize they came from a home with guidance. And so they need to be guided in the right direction, which what I was grateful and blessed to have that opportunity, and didn't realize that those were angels waiting and there for me. My people had already carved the path. When I say my people, I mean black people, because Dr. Perkins knew, just like you, what he needed to do to help educate and graduate, to make sure we matriculate through the system and get out of there with a degree.
Well, I want to bring in someone else.
Perfect segue. I'm going to jump out.
No, you can stay right here.
Excuse me,
Mo, I want you to come in.
Come on here, take my microphone.
And
Maya's leaving me.
what did it say?
Maya's leaving me. Maya's like, come on, go ahead. Okay.
Well, yeah, you don't go anywhere. Yeah, you're going to stay right there. But, yeah, because you got to take care of Christiana.
No, she does not. Again, one thing about me, we work together. When it comes to, even though I graduated in business management and I do have a lot of management roles, I make sure they understand that we all work together. Because sometimes I do know, being from that, type of realm and home, my father had me digging graves. Do you understand? So you
digging graves?
Yes, because we were at a funeral home. But I say that because you would never know who the boss is on the job, because that boss is working just as hard as everybody else. And that's always my goal with my team.
Well, let me see if I can get this going real quick. Hold on 1 second.
I believe the Tigers are coming through.
Hi, I'm Mo Carter. Yeah, I'm a sports anchor in Huntsville, Alabama, but I'm also play-by-play guy for today's game on SWAC TV.
HBCU go?
SWAC TV.
Okay. It's the Tiger Walk.
Well, guess what, folks? The Jackson State University Tiger football team is getting ready to do their Tiger Walk. And before we get the Tigers coming in, I want to get you to introduce Mo Carter. Mo, introduce yourself.
Hey, what's going on, everyone? Mo Carter, HBCU grad, also play-by-play individual today for SWAC TV as Jackson State takes on Tuskegee. If you check it out at 2 p.m. on SWAC TV, you'll be able to hear my voice along with Tyler Carr as we bring you today's highlights from right here in the state of Mississippi, in the city of Jackson. Mr. Jefferson, good to see you as always, my friend.
And I tell you what, it's great to see you as well. Been knowing Mo for a few years. Great personality, great voice. And I tell you what, this is why we have him representing us for SWAC TV. So let's go ahead and move to the Tigers as they get off their bus and do the Tiger Walk. So let's go ahead. They're getting ready to come, and there you go.
Oh, this is my favorite part. Tell them who we are, y'all. You know what it is, right? Jay.
And so you want to go ahead and take this, Mo?
Well, look, I'll go ahead and tell you this. As a former football player, this is one of the most exciting times of the day, primarily because you've been at that hotel over the last 24 hours getting your mind right. So the fact that the first thing you see when you step on the bus and look at the stadium is the fact that you see fans who are here to cheer you on. You may not know these fans, but these fans know you, and you are representing your respective school. Today, it is Jackson State University. T.C. Taylor getting ready to lead his team into battle against Tuskegee, and this is where it all starts with the Tiger Walk.
That's right. It's the Tigers taking on the Golden Tigers on today.
Yeah, it's a battle of the Tigers, so we're in the jungle.
And see, I'm going to let these two personalities go ahead and run with it. So y'all go ahead and run with this.
Well, let's talk a little bit about football, because if you've been covering the games, you already know that this is a powerhouse team, Jackson State. So how do you think things will fare out on today?
Well, the main thing for Jackson State today is that they have to find more production offensively. You've got the preseason SWAC Offensive Player of the Year with their quarterback, but the thing is that at the end of the day, Jackson State has not even thrown a touchdown pass. Jacoby Morgan does not have a TD pass through the air. So they've got to find a way to work that offense or whatever, get things going, get it to Fertillion, get it to Travis Terrell, and then really let the rushing attack go. As far as Tuskegee, they've got a quarterback that can sling it around, and he's got a slew of receivers. So if you're that Jackson State defense, you got to prepare for a solid team, because at the end of the day, Tuskegee's playing up. So because Tuskegee's playing up, they've got all the ideas in the back of the head of pulling off an upset today, and hey, they can definitely do it, and they're looking good doing it.
Well, the last time they upset us was in 2017 when the score was 33-7.
Indeed. Ooh. Now, also, I will say this, too. That was back in Mobile. That was more of a home game for Tuskegee, and Jackson State was kind of going through a downward spiral at some times. Now, granted, some things have changed since then.
Absolutely.
And because of that, we want to ask C.C. Taylor the other day about it. He was like, yeah, we're familiar about it, but nobody on this team was even in high school when that game was going on. So, whole lot of change. Coaches have changed, players have changed, but the dynamic is that you want to get out and still win the football game today.
So I'm hearing that Tuskegee was a black national champions back in 2017 when they won against Jackson State at 33-7.
Yes, they were. They were recognized as Division II national champs that year. So, clearly, if you think about it, these are two blue bloods when it comes to HBCU football just in general, with Jackson State and also with Tuskegee. So, and also today is also a big day for the SIAC against the SWAC. Not only do you have this game, you've got Albany State going up against Florida A&M. You also have Kentucky State going against Grambling. Miles is going against Alabama State. So this is one of several games in which the SWAC is going against the SIAC.
And as a matter of fact, let's take a look at that schedule for what's going on. So go ahead, guys. Take it away.
Well, let me tell you, things may have been a little different back in 2017, but the way that we have critiqued our program now, they have a challenge coming their way.
Oh, no, certainly. Tuskegee will be challenged today, but when I talked to their coach the other day, he said they're certainly up for the challenge, and it's just one of those things where it's like it's next man up, next game up, and at the end of the day, winning is going to go in the favor of either the Golden Tigers or the Tigers, and as he mentioned before, sure, there's a few more scholarships on Jackson State's side, but you still have to put 11 men on the field each and every play.
Well, let me ask you guys this. Florida A&M is going up against the number one team in the SIAC. They are also projected to win the conference championship for the SIAC. Florida A&M, as far as I'm concerned, they're on upset alert today. How do you feel about that?
I certainly do think they're on upset alert. Will they get upset? We'll have to find out later on a game that you will also see on SWAC TV. But the main thing is that they got to go out there and they got to play their game. Albany State is a team that can sling the ball around. They've got a dynamic quarterback, and they also run an up-tempo offense. So if you're Coach James Cozy and that defense, you got to be on your P's and Q's throughout the day to try to make some things happen down in Tallahassee.
Now, that game, as far as I know, has not been given a time. Do you have a time for that game?
Yes, it's at 6 p.m.
Okay, so that game...
6 p.m. Central.
And that's 6 p.m. Central Standard Time. Yeah. And as you can see, Florida A&M against Albany State. Now, with that game, as Mo mentioned earlier, there are other schools that are playing against SIAC schools.
Alabama A&M taking on Tennessee State. You got Miles College taking on Alabama State. Of course, Alcorn is over at Mississippi State today. How do you think that will fare out?
The main thing for Alcorn State, they just have to find a way to come out healthy. That's the main thing.
Yeah, and that's
Absolutely.
Right. That's right.
We understand money games.
It is.
But, just at the end of the day, you're still going to play your game, but you want to come out healthy. That is the main thing.
Mississippi State just upset a really big team not too long ago last week.
Yes, they did.
They first win over a top 25 team in a number of years. So, the cowbells are really going to be ringing today in Starkville.
Let me tell you something. They say JSU by 40. I think that one right there, ASU...
is going to be tough.
Let's make sure we stay healthy.
Exactly.
Yes. Now, other games in the SWAC.
All right, you got Lincoln taking on Arkansas Pine Bluff, of course. Bethune-Cookman taking on South Carolina State University. Lamar is taking on Texas Southern. Prairie View A&M is taking on Rice University. Mississippi Valley State University taking on Southeastern Louisiana University. Kentucky State University, of course, is taking on Grambling State. And Southern is taking on Fresno State. Is that Fresno?
No,
Fresno
that's
State.
Fresno
correct.
State.
Yeah.
Now, South Carolina State in the MEAC. Tell me about it. What do you think about them?
On them.
I mean, you know, South Carolina State was the MEAC's representative last year in the Celebration Bowl, and, you know, clearly they took a L to Jackson State in that championship. But because all things considered, it's Coach Chennisberry, and he's going to have those guys still ready to play. Very interested to see how that's going to play out because Bethune-Cookman and South Carolina State were considered rivals in their MEAC days. So now,
yes, they were.
Now it's an important out-of-conference game for both squads today.
Well, you know something? I was at that Celebration Bowl past December, and all I can say is that our band beat out theirs.
Well, that was easy.
That was the easy part.
That was an easy L for South Carolina State.
Absolutely.
But the one thing about South Carolina State is that Coach Berry left Benedict, coming over to South Carolina State, took that team that was 6-5 the previous year and made it to the Celebration Bowl. They went through the MEAC 5-0. I mean, they just went through the conference like a hot knife through butter. Woo. And they went through North Carolina Central.
Yeah.
Not with ease, but it was a comfortable game for them.
Correct.
Yeah.
And for Coach Berry to win that game, and now he's had a chance to recruit his players. Do you think they'll be able to do it again?
I have South Carolina State as my favorite in the MEAC. However, I think it's really still going to come down to a game between them and Trey Oliver and North Carolina Central.
So do I.
You know, I think that Michael Vick and Norfolk State are still trying to catch their groove. Same thing with Deshaun Jackson and Delaware State. Now, they did get a big win last week. That was a huge win for Delaware State. But I still think the wheels are still in motion for those both programs. So I think right now it's still top-heavy with NC Central and South Carolina State. So that big game near the end of the year will probably determine who's playing the SWAC champion in Atlanta in the month of December.
Well, I'm going to let you guys continue to talk sports. You know, it's time for me to get some hot dogs and hamburgers here at the tailgate. I tell them it's like one big family reunion, and I love it. Thank you for having me here today.
No problem, and thank you very much.
Seeing you very soon, sir.
If I get a chance to come back for homecoming, you have a seat right here.
Absolutely. I'll come see you, but until then, I'll see you before then very soon.
Excellent.
And it was very nice to meet you.
Absolutely. Same here.
And Mo, why don't you have a seat?
I'm going to slide on here real quick.
And I tell you what. Sorry about that.
No, it's all good.
Thank you very much. And looking forward to, see, folks, this is what I'm talking about. Relationships, partnerships, and being able to have people that are in the media that know what they're talking about. This is what I love.
Recognize talent.
See, thank you. But I tell you what, for what she does and what she brings to the table, I will always have a seat. And my daughter, and both of them have these little bitty play fans that they're walking around with. Look, I got 4 fans. 1, 2, 3. Don't let me take that. So, see you guys later. But yeah, I got 4 fans.
I see them.
But Mo, with this game coming up, and like I said, this is kind of big. Jackson State exercised some demons 2 weeks ago, if I'm not mistaken, when they played Hampton. Because Hampton was 3-0 for Jackson State. But when Jackson State played Hampton, that was during a time frame when they were not that good. Now, the same thing comes back when Jackson State played Tuskegee. We were not that good. I think we were 3-8 that year when Tuskegee beat us 33-7. So with this game, what are your notes telling you?
Well, my notes are telling me that the past is the past. That's the main thing. The past is the past, and this is now 2025. Different administrations, different coaching staffs, different players. With that being said, everybody wants to get out here and get a victory. T.C. Taylor wants to lead his team to a victory, while Coach Aaron James also wants to lead his team to a victory. Interesting note, you have 2 head coaches going up against each other. They're leading their respective alma maters, and then on top of that, they are 2 of the better players from their generations when they play football as well. T.C. Taylor, an all-SWAC selection in the late 90s, early 2000s for Jackson State, and then the same thing with Coach James with Tuskegee. The most interesting thing, though, is that there's not a lot of connection between Jackson State and Tuskegee besides some guy named Rick Comegee, who was very dominant during his days at Tuskegee, came over here, did the same thing at Jackson State, got them to a couple of SWAC championships, including a SWAC championship title in the late 2000s. And of course, Coach James played for Rick Comegee. I asked him about it. He said Comegee is expected to be here. Now, what color he wears, no telling.
As a matter of fact, I'll see Coach Comegee in the press box earlier today.
Okay.
Or should I say later on today. And he will be on the second story. Because you guys will be on the third?
Yes.
Okay. So he'll be on the second story, close to the end on that side. So if you get a chance to go and see Coach Comegee, and we talk all the time. Each time I come to a game, he's always sitting there, always watching the game. And yes, that's a mind that is actually being wasted. Because here he is, he's not coaching anywhere. Great coach. Because from the time Coach Comegee left Jackson State, we had just made it to the SWAC championship. Unfortunately, we lost to Southern University that year. And then after that, we were either 5-7 or 3-8. But these are little things that we have to understand that Jackson State is able to do. And we've had our ups, we've had our downs, but at the same time, we are always coming back. And here is one of our previous JSU NAA presidents, Miss Yolanda Owens. So why don't you say hi?
Hey to everybody out in Tigerland. We're going to beat Tuskegee today. Yay!
And see, this is what it's all about.
Awesome.
All the fans come home. JSU NAA past presidents, they're here. They're coming here to see the game, cheer on the Tigers. And also, we're getting ready for our fall leadership conference next week.
Next weekend.
And it'll be a virtual conference. So for those of you who are watching, make sure you sign up. If you haven't paid your dues, pay your dues. So, look, I'm a firm believer. If you don't pay, you don't have a voice. If you don't have a voice, my advice to you, shut the hell up.
So what you're saying in a nutshell is if you don't pay, you don't have a say.
Absolutely.
All right.
Thank you. If you don't pay, you don't have a say.
Y'all enjoy the game.
All right, we'll do.
You. See you later.
We'll do. So,
go ahead.
Ms. Jefferson, I was going to go ahead and say this, and I got to get out of here because I got to head to the press box myself.
Yes, you got to get ready.
Indeed. So the main thing is that, as I mentioned earlier, for Jackson State, they got to find a way to put the ball in the end zone through the air. You've got Jacobian Morgan, your preseason SWAC player of the year on the offense. He doesn't have any passing touchdowns. I think if he's able to do that, then that kind of opens up things for Jackson State offensively, and the running game is going to take care of itself. Now, on the other side, if you're Jackson State's defense, you have to pin your ears back and get ready for Raekwon Beal. He's got a number of weapons, including E.J. Hall, who can literally not only spread the defense, but he also can open things up for Mr. Beal to find other receivers and other individuals around the way. So the main thing you want to look at that is that, they've got to find a way to limit him. And then on top of that, defensive-wise, Quincy Ivory, he's going to get after some folks. He's got 18 tackles in the first two games, and looking at my stats right now, he's got already 5 tackles for a loss and 3 sacks. Funny thing is, the guy started his college career as a quarterback. And then eventually
Jackson State? No, it was not a Jackson State.
He was at Valley, actually.
That's right.
He was at Valley. He went to the JUCO route. They moved into the D-line, and then all of a sudden, he's now one of the most dominant forces. So clearly, Coach James said, we got to find a way to not only put a hand on him, we got to understand where he's at on every single play. But a guy like him kind of reminds me of Mr. Nobles last year. Just disrupting the offensive line.
Yes.
So I think he's kind of falling to that same bit. So if he's able to kind of control the line of scrimmage, it could be a very long day for Tuskegee's offense, while it could be a good day for Jackson State. But, hey, at the end of the day, that's why you play the game.
And then when you're in a position like that, previously playing quarterback, you're able to read the offense and what they're possibly getting ready to do. One quick question before you leave.
Okay.
McDonald is currently playing for Clark Atlanta.
Yes, I saw him the other night.
Played excellent.
Indeed.
Do you think he should have still been at Jackson State?
I'll tell you this. The days of waiting and
Waiting your time.
wanting, waiting your turn and all that, unfortunately, it's not there anymore, thanks to the transfer portal. So he saw an opportunity to put his name in the transfer portal, and then he got picked up, and all of a sudden now he puts together some things, and he's playing under Coach Teddy Keaton, a very great offensive mind over at Clark Atlanta. So, for him personally, it looks like things are going well, but at the end of the day, T.C. Taylor would just tell you, hey, man, it's just next man up. So whoever's behind, his next quarterback behind Morgan, now they have an additional spot ready in that sense. But, yeah, we're just in a situation now where, you can get attached to a guy here or there, but it just depends on what's going to happen on the next stage. I mean, you wish him the best of luck in that situation, but at the same time, just like there are coaching turnovers, there are player turnovers as well.
And I can tell you right now, he's in a great situation. Coach Keaton for Clark Atlanta, excellent coach.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that game went back and forth.
Correct.
Last Thursday night. And they showed a lot of moxie to be able to come back, win that game. The defense was able to put up a defensive stop to make sure Clark Atlanta came out with that game. As I said, Fayetteville State is projected to finish 5th in that conference. But for the most part, Clark Atlanta, Albany State, they're the class of the conference. Can't wait to see that major clash. I don't remember if they play during the regular season, but I can guarantee you they will be playing in the SIAC championship. So, Mo, man, thank you very much.
No problem, Mr. Jefferson.
I look to see you. And look, I told you about calling me Mr. Jefferson. We've been knowing each other long enough.
I understand.
But
hey,
at
look,
the same time,
it's that Southern hospitality and Southern charm, I am from South Louisiana, so.
And I respect that. Because I'm from 120 miles southwest of here. Small town named Centerville, Mississippi.
I'm familiar with Centerville.
See?
Yep.
Love it.
As a matter of fact, so my wife is about 10 minutes away from Centerville.
Where?
So she was born and raised in Jackson, Louisiana.
Yes.
East Feliciana Parish.
Yes. I know about, we used to play, I used to play basketball. We used to play basketball, run track against them in Jackson, Louisiana.
Yep.
Hey, Meat?
No,
got Jackson, but you remember.
She went to Jackson High. They've had a consolidation. Now it's East Feliciana High School. Jackson and Clinton High School consolidated about 10 years ago, so now it's East Feliciana High School. But all across that Highway 10 stretch, you got St. Francisville, you got Jackson, you got Ethel, you got McManus, and then eventually you get to Clinton, then you get to Greensburg, and then eventually you get to 55 where Amite is.
And see, for me, we used to always travel, 61 south, or either 19 to 33 coming from Centerville.
Yeah.
And see, that was our run. Go ahead.
Yeah, my mother-in-law and father-in-law's house is right off of Highway 19. So yeah.
And see, just little things that just lets you know, homeboys, and that's what it's all about. Indeed. And I can see that the boom is coming in, the band is coming in, and they're getting ready to go.
Indeed.
But with that being said, Mo has to go and get ready for the production. So make sure you tune in live. What time is game time?
3 p.m. Eastern, 2 p.m. Central, SWAC TV. Download the SWAC TV app on your smart TV, your Roku, or your phone. Or if you're on your computer, go tv.swac.org to go ahead and find the live broadcast as well. But look, we're 3 weeks into the season. You should have your access to SWAC TV by now.
And if you don't, something's wrong with you.
Exactly. Dr. McClellan told you about it back in the middle of July at SWAC Media Day. That was almost 3 months ago. So you definitely should be on it. But catch us on the broadcast. It'll be yours truly and Tolly Carr from HBCU Game Day on today's broadcast at 3 p.m. Eastern, 2 p.m. Central. We kick off the day's coverage, and then you got a slew of SWAC TV games later on at 6. But there's only one at 3 p.m. to Central. Mr. Jefferson, good to see you. As always, my friend. Take it easy, all right?
You got it. And, guys, I know these guys. Great guys. Great personalities. So make sure you're listening if you can't, for whatever reason, I don't know why, but if you can't tune in, make sure you also listen to the Jackson State Tiger game on 95.5 on iHeart. I believe that's iHeartRadio. But SWAC TV, Mo Carter, and Tully Carr. Great guys, great personalities. See you guys later. So this is what it's all about, guys. Making sure that we're able to bring on the personalities that we work with and that we see each and every day. And these are guys that I have been knowing for quite some time. And with Christiana, she's been working with my daughters. Mo Carter, we've been working with media, working with all of the conferences, all of the HBCU conferences around the country. And we try to make sure we go to all of the media days around the country, getting you all the information that we possibly can. And because of that, this is what we do. We're bringing you coverage from your favorite HBCU school. That's why I'm hoping that next week we're able to come to you live from Virginia Union when Virginia Union plays the projected number 2 team in the conference. But here we go again. Games that are being played here in the SWAC. And here we go. Games that are being played here in the SWAC. And these games are Albany State against Florida A&M. And as far as I'm concerned, I still believe that they should be on upset alert. Next, Jackson State against Tuskegee. Tennessee State will host Alabama A&M. Alabama State will play Miles College. After that, Alcorn travels to Mississippi State University. UAPB will host Lincoln of California. Bethune-Cookman will travel to South Carolina State. I don't see any breaks anywhere for Bethune-Cookman because South Carolina State is going to bring it again, and I expect them to win. Texas Southern will host Lamar. Prairie View will host their in-state rival Rice University. Southeastern Louisiana University will host Mississippi Valley State. Kentucky State and SIAC School will now travel to Grambling. And Southern will travel to Fresno State. That is a 9 p.m. Central Standard Time game because that game is well out of state in the state of California. So make sure, guys, that you support your HBCU. And like I said earlier, guys, join your alumni association. If you are a graduate of an HBCU, Jackson State, Alcorn, Hampton, Texas Southern, Tuskegee, it doesn't matter where you graduated from, Albany State, Kentucky State, make sure you are an alum that has joined your National Alumni Association. After you have joined your National Alumni Association, make sure you find a local chapter so you can continue to support that Alumni Association. I'm a member of the National Alumni Association for Jackson State University, as well as a member of the local chapter in Indianapolis, where I actually serve as the president of the Indianapolis chapter. So please make sure, guys, that you support your local HBCU. With the SWAC conference here and the SIAC, we have 2 of the 4 HBCU conferences represented here today. And because of that, we have 2 of the more, well, let's just put it this way. We have 2 of the blue bloods in HBCU lore between Jackson State and Tuskegee. These schools have put in many, many, many graduates to the NFL. Jackson State also has 4 members in the NFL Hall of Fame. And I apologize for not knowing how many Tuskegee has put into the Hall of Fame. But yet and still, the number of players that each school has placed into the NFL, that's what we do. But going back to the games that are being played today by the SWAC. And here they are. With with Albany State and Florida A&M, I must say, guys, I'm looking at that, and a lot of people might say, why do you keep going back to this game? Because Albany State, even though I don't believe they've played a Division I team this year, I still say Florida A&M should be on upset alert. Now, as far as the SIAC goes, for the past 5 years, there's only been 2 years where an SIA school has not defeated a SWAC school. And here we go. 2024, last year, the SWAC won 7 games, SIAC won 1. 23, SIAC won 2 games against the SWAC out of 7. But 21 and 22, the SWAC won all of the games against the SIAC. But in 2019, the SWAC won 6, SIAC won 1 game. Now that 1 game that the SWAC ended up losing, unfortunately, that game was Jackson State against Kentucky State University. And Kentucky State really took it to us. And in that particular game, in 2019, we were in the process of slowly but surely trying to come back out of the valley. And that year, when Kentucky State defeated us, that was one of those times when we said, enough is enough. And we came back, and that's when we brought on our previous head coach. He brought Jackson State back to what we're accustomed to having a winning program, a winning tradition, and we haven't looked back. Coach T.C. Taylor has put us in a position where, guess what? So far in the SWAC, we're undefeated. This year, we're looking to do the exact same thing. But I'm telling you, folks, Alabama State is going to pose a problem for Jackson State University. It's going to be a big game, and I'm looking forward to seeing that game one way, shape, form, or fashion. Well, folks, we got a crowd that's coming in behind us in the alumni tent. They're enjoying food, fun, and relationships, meeting up with people that they went to school with and having fun with. And so they're rekindling old relationships, talking about the times that they had when they were in school here at Jackson State. And because of that, I remember having a great time at J-State. So we can never take for granted any of the things that we used to do when we were in school. So, and with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and close the show a little earlier today and make sure that we get ready for our pregame show in the stands, because I am going to listen to the game, watch what my uncle has to say, and see what we can do from that standpoint, because I have to go ahead and cheer on the Tigers of Jackson State. So make sure, guys, that whatever you do, you support your favorite school. And I'm going to go ahead in the stands, go ahead, get in the stadium, and as I said, see Coach Tuskegee, former coach of both Tuskegee and Jackson State, and just try to get to see what he's going to say about this game. So may God bless you, may God keep you, and I will see you this coming Tuesday on B.L.O.K Sports at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And look for me next week, because if we can, we will be live for another pregame show in Johnson C. Smith versus Virginia Union. So may God bless you. May God keep you. And we will see you next time.